Most Punk Podcast, episode 24 with Colin and Olga, wrapping up March, heading into April.
That's right.
Is that right?
That's
Yes!
the month. That's the month that's happening next. I mean, they're all starting to look the same. It's all weird. Everything's been weird.
We got punk news and punk music to talk about. We got Billie Joe Armstrong running for president. We got the Dropkick Murphys doing podcast. NOFX on Patreon. WTF, new music from Rise Against, the BRONX horror section, and Copper Moon, plus miscellaneous odds and ends. What's up over there?
Well, you know, just another great week and almost quarantine. It's like weird. What time are we in? It's like we're not in quarantine, but we're not in quarantine. There's not a word for it in just post-COVID life, I guess.
We're the 50-50.
Yeah, I'm starting to see some more shows popping up here and there. So that's exciting. And it seems like, I mean, technically where we live, people can have concerts for up to 50 people. I just have not seen any pop up yet, but
well, I think like you were saying last time you started noticing bands were booking shows for the future.
Yeah.
And the present time that you said that, it is now the future of that.
Yep.
And it's happening. It's happening. Are you excited?
I'm excited. I'm confused. I'm excited. I'm just tired of like everything I try to do getting canceled or shut down longer or things taking longer than I thought. So I try not to get too excited. And then it's just kind of weird to think about. I don't have tickets to anything anytime soon yet.
Yeah.
So I would be excited if some of them were actually coming here and I had tickets. I would be excited. But since I have tickets for, I think, Punk Rock Bowling in September, that's the only thing. So I'm excited, but I'm trying not to like get too excited about it.
We are months out.
Yeah, months out. So,
but I live in San Jose, so there's the Ritz nightclub where bands play. Fu Manchu is coming to town, and I can't remember what month. It's not anytime soon. It's probably August or September. But I just thought, good, they're booking shows. That means they're still in business, and I can go see bands come to town.
Yeah,
I will have to go support them. So I guess the first concert in San Jose I'll probably buy tickets for is Fu Manchu, just because.
Oh, okay. Well, we've seen them before.
Yes, but unfortunately, it's a Tuesday night, so now it's like, now I'm back to old problems. You know, I'll be like, man, great band coming to town on a Tuesday. Oh no. But it's better than
be weird.
No band can ever come to town because of quarantine. So I guess I got to pick what things I'm going to complain about if that's the case.
Yeah, but
oh boy,
it's tough. It's tough to have to trade off complaining.
Are you ready for news?
I am. So the first thing is, I did. I heard this, that Billie Joe Armstrong is running for president allegedly in 2024. I haven't found much like information to confirm if this is true, but there are several news sources that were saying that that's kind of rumored or he filed or something like that, and that he's running on a Republican ticket, allegedly, which is also alleged. So that's interesting. What do you think about that?
I was thinking this is the way to infiltrate the enemy from the inside. And when you think about it, though, it somewhat makes sense because Billie Joe Armstrong is a multimillionaire to the 10th degree, right? He's a super rich person. Usually super rich people are Republicans, right? So then I'm like, okay, he's a money guy. And then, you know, classic Republican ideology to what the good parts, in quotes, the good parts were like smaller government, lower taxes, better economy, and less regulation, right? So those are like the foundations of republicanism that aren't bad, right? So maybe he's like, let's focus on that stuff and stop being racist. Let's stop telling people what to do with their bodies. Let's stop sending all of the children to Catholic school or religious school. Maybe he's trying to get rid of that other stuff that
maybe
is problematic to me. And maybe this is his way to do that by trying to shift what being a Republican means.
Yeah.
But that's a stretch though.
It is a stretch. But I feel like there's just so much, I don't know, there's just so much discussion about the future of Republican Party that this is like, it seems like if you're going to just wild card run, you might have a better chance if you do it, you know, in a party that's in trouble right now and is looking for new leadership perhaps, or somebody new that, you know, that to kind of distance themselves from the old. Kanye ran, so why not?
And so that's
like Billie Joe is way more qualified probably. I know he's always been outspoken about policies at least, so yeah.
Well, I'm a government employee. As a government employee, I no longer am interested in any celebrities having any office positions in government. To me, it's not good. You should start off doing something else first and then use your fame after, but you have to do some stuff first. But anyway, like you said, Kanye ran for president. I don't think he was actually really running for president. It was more like a PR move. So this could certainly just be a PR move. If they got an album coming out in 2024, it'll just coincide with the release of that album, and then they get more publicity. You know, Green Day has been slightly on the popularity decline with their last 2 albums. At least I think they've been a little less popular than the previous 2 albums before the albums.
I have an idea. We should run in 2024 just to get the podcast out there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can be president, and can I do nothing?
I don't know about that. We're gonna have to discuss this, but yeah, just a thought. It does seem like a good PR move, and you know, why not? Yeah.
Why not? I guess you just got to file the paperwork.
That's our slogan. Why not? That's going to be our why not 2024.
We need a platform. We're going to have to work on this platform, you know, because I don't want to run Republican. I don't want to run Democrat. And if we're going to make a serious run, we're going to have to come up with some good ideas. We're just going to
have to come up with a punk party. You know, it's just that'll be, There you go.
It'll be like, we drink PBR every Friday night. That's what we do. or every Tuesday night.
When a band you like comes to show on a Tuesday, you get Wednesday off. It's a holiday.
That's better.
See? This will be our policy.
Flex hours for the workforce. You don't have to come in at 8 a.m. You can come in at 2 p.m. You just got to put in your time.
That's right.
Fine. If you got a hangover, sleep it off. Come in later.
Go see Fu Manchu.
If you're high, you can come into work high. That's fine as long as you can do your work. You know, just don't drink and drive.
Yeah.
Pretty good platform.
That is pretty good.
Drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Covered.
And then the other thing I saw, it was this month, is Dropkick Murphys did their stream on St. Patrick's Day, which is still locked down. And I think the whole performance is available on YouTube. And I watched it a little bit, but it just kind of put me back to like, and they're great. Like the show was good and everything. It was just like emotionally difficult to realize this is the second one. Like that's when I knew I've been home for a year, is this show. So it was just like, it just really put me back into the mental space of me last year being like, this is so funny. I'm watching a show, ha ha ha, for the next 2 weeks, I'll be locked at home. And then just realizing how much has happened and how long I've been at home and how this is how I've been watching shows, and it just hits you differently. So I couldn't even like pay so much attention. It just kind of made me focus so much about like what's going on and how long I've been stuck at home.
Yeah. And this was a 2-hour long performance. I mean, this was a high production value set. This was like when we had Death by Stereo. We had Ephraimani interviewed him right before they did the Death by Stereo CD release party online. This was like that. I mean, it was super. Like, the lighting is there. The sound is there. This is the real deal experience virtually.
And they have a new album coming out, I think in April. So they promoted that a little bit. So that's cool.
This is like Zoom fatigue at work, but with shows.
Yeah, stream fatigue.
You know, I was okay with the Monday morning meeting.
Yeah.
But how many of these can I deal with before I'm just over it? And so I think that's
and everybody's been saying, like, in the beginning, everybody did happy hours and we did Zooms with our friends like a couple times a week and all of that. And now I feel like we're not doing that because we're just like
burnt. Semi-related, but not really related at all. Is I just can't believe the Dropkick Murphys are as big as they are.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
I remember, and it was like the late 90s, they had that Barroom Hero song, and I thought they were just this funny little punk band, and I just thought I liked them. This is cool. And now they're like a huge band. They're like an international big band. They play their songs at sporting events. If it were 1998 and you woke up today in 2021, you couldn't believe Dropkick Murphys were the band that made it big out of the scene.
That's true. Because there's some bands that were big that are not as big anymore. Or whatever.
Like I could say they're bigger than Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Yeah.
And at the time, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, they were mainstream act.
Yeah, I feel like, weren't they in Clueless, the movie?
Yeah.
They were. That's pretty mainstream.
Yeah. But that's not related to Zooming. I just thought, well, good for Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah.
And they have not a new singer, but they have a different singer than they did when they first started. And they're bigger now than they were. How often do these things happen? This band is like,
not very often.
And they're still cool. Like, they seem like they're still cool people.
Yeah.
I don't know them. I'm just, we talked about that before. When you get into a band, you know everything about them. And I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't even know what the words of the songs are that I've heard 1,000 times. So when I say they're still cool people,
you don't know.
I'm talking out my rear end here.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I get.
Yeah. And then speaking of knowing everything about a band you're interested in, so I joined the NOFX Patreon.
Oh, you joined?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a crazy person. So I joined the NOFX Patreon, where they are recording their new album on stream, and you can just kind of watch how they work through their songs, and it's pretty entertaining. And it just made me miss band practice, because it's exactly what band practice is like. You just play a song, you play it together, and then you give each other feedback, or you change parts and whatever. So it just kind of made me bummed that I haven't been able to go to band practice in so long. But it was pretty cool to see, and some people in the chat were saying, like, this is their teenage dream or lifelong dream, is to see how this band writes their music and such. But they kind of have a lot of streams, and they're always happening at random times when I'm working, so I haven't really been able to keep up with most of it. But if you are a fan, check it out. Or if you are curious how other bands record, because that's the thing, is even if you're in a band, you know how you record, but you don't know what everyone else's process is like. So
it's
fascinating. It's an interesting concept. And it's kind of cool that they came up with this. Like, I've never seen any other band do this. And for a band that's like, they've been around, so usually those are not the bands that are introducing necessarily new technology, different use of technologies to their fans sometimes, right? Like, it's all right now, all the bands that are getting big now are using TikTok or whatever. But they kind of came up with, I don't know if they came up with it or somebody else did, but I haven't seen any other band do something like this.
Yeah, I didn't know that you were going to jump on it and you had all this info, because at first you sent me like, okay, NOFX is going to do Patreon. And I just, like, the first thought was, oh God, lame. Like, I was just like, this is lame. This is so lame. I'm mad. I'm just mad. And so then I go to see what you get and how much it costs. And it's $10 a month.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at anything yet at that point. I was $10 a month. It never goes away. And then I'm like, what am I? And then you say, okay, you get a t-shirt, you get an album, you get this private chat and blah, blah. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, $10, no. But I didn't think about the recording of the album. That probably is the most interesting thing I've ever seen on a Patreon at all.
Exactly. Because
I just missed that. And now you're right. And I'm also, I can't even believe it, because we've recorded a couple albums, and it's very stressful.
It is. The fact that they're willing, like, that's the thing is, I mean, they've done so many documentaries and things like that at this point, but I would hate to be recorded while I'm trying to record because
there's so much on your mind as it is.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Yeah, I just can't, because then I would have to be like, oh, don't yell at Colin.
Yeah. What did you say?
Yeah, you got to watch what you say. And the one that I watched so far, they weren't even recording. They were finishing a song. So they're like trying to finish writing the song, and they like made changes to it. And it's just crazy that they're willing to do that. I mean, they're not a band that they're so open about who they are,
well, you're right,
and the things they do, that I guess that is the perfect band to do it, because if anyone else did it, it would be like much more edited.
Well,
they would probably have a practice where they would pretend to finish writing the song on film or something like that.
Well, like they did Backstage Passport 1.
Yep.
And that was like the feel good story of NOFX. And then they did Backstage Passport 2, and they're showing them like doing drugs and like falling down and like their lives falling apart and bad family relationship problems. So I guess after you've done that, recording your album and having other people
and
watch,
the book, their autobiography that all
and
of
their
them
book, yes,
wrote chapters, which it has a lot of dirt in it. If
crap.
you like NOFX, you have to read that book. Even if you don't like NOFX, you should read that book. It's really good. But yeah, so they don't really have a lot of secrets from us that we as fans are aware of. But yeah, it's kind of cool that they're doing that. I thought that was a really creative way of like probably crowdsourcing some of the money for recording the album.
Since there's no way to make money
and
now.
also giving their and also giving their fans something kind of really, I feel like that is actually special and unique. A lot of things say they're going to be special and unique, but this is pretty unique.
Man, I'm annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
That part's cool. Like I want to see them doing that, recording the album. However, I would actually rather prefer to watch a 2-hour documentary about the making of the album and just pay $20 flat for that. But
you
this
just
now I have to pay $10
someone bootlegs it or somebody edits it officially, and they should just make that would be a good idea.
I know it'll happen. It's just
I'll do it.
It's the money. $10 a month, a monthly fee to be. This is what got me out of the Donnas. This is why I ended up not being a Donnaholic or whatever. I was in the Donnas fan club for like, I don't remember, 10 years or something like that. And then they changed the fan club where you had to pay to be in the fan club. I'm like, what are you talking about? I've been a fan of this band forever. I'm buying t-shirts, I'm buying albums, I'm going to all their shows, and now you're going to make me pay money extra? And then I got all mad, and then I'm like, poo on them. Anyway, so now
I like what Distillers did with their fan club, because they have a free version and then they have a paid version, and you get more stuff if you pay, but you still get certain things.
Yeah, at least that makes sense.
I feel like that's a good model, because some people just don't have money. Their kids or they don't have money, or they have kids and they don't have money for fun things like that. So it makes a lot of sense, but you still want to be in the fan club.
The Donna scenario that I mentioned was 15 years ago. Things have changed. It made me relive my bad fan club memories. And that's why I was like, I cannot deal with another fan club fiasco from a band I like, because then it gives me a reason to not like them, even though I liked them so much beforehand. So I didn't want it to go that way. But this is fascinating.
I was actually in the AFI fan club, and I don't know if I'm still in it. I thought it was a lifetime thing. I don't know how to get back in to log in. But I saw this week they posted that they've released a collection of merch for fan club only. And one of the things was a shower curtain.
Oh,
so
well, very AFI.
See, if you're in the fan club, you get really unique things. I mean, I have never owned a shower curtain from a band I like, but now got to find my login for Despair faction and see how much this shower curtain is.
Oh my God.
I don't think I'm gonna buy it, but
that's what gets me. Like, you join the fan club, you pay money to have access to buy other crap that you probably wouldn't have bought in the first place. But you're like, well, I paid all this money to be in the fan club, and now they have a shower curtain. My shower curtain has mold on it. I might as well buy a new one.
Yeah.
I might as well get the AFI one.
Do you even have the cool AFI shower curtain? I mean,
oh man, now I'm like, am I gonna have to go buy an AFI shower curtain now just because you mentioned it?
They had sandals, like they had slider sandals on that list. I was just like, what is going on with merch?
The Donna's fan club experience was so bad, I vowed to never join another fan club. But now you got me thinking, I'm probably overreacting.
Maybe it's been a while. You can,
I don't know.
I'm over here. Yeah, I'm over here watching NOFX record their album, and I'm over here practically buying an AFI shower curtain. That's what we call living the life. Man,
I'm more of like a one-time fee for a year of an affordable rate that I like around. I'm like $18.95, or if they want to rip me off, $24.99. But after that, then I start really thinking about it.
What sucks about the lifetime fees is sometimes you'll do it, but then the record label will own the fan club, and then when the band leaves, there's so much stuff. I don't know how it even all works out in backstage, but I swear I've been in fan clubs where they just kind of disappeared.
Well, I guess that's why they did Patreon.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Patreon will take their cut, but they're gonna own everything else. So
yeah, and also AFI fan club, it used to be you got to basically watch the sound check. If you were in the fan club and you showed up for a show, because they were so small, they would take you to see the sound check. Now I don't know if they do that.
I doubt that's the case anymore.
Shower merch though. So
things have changed.
So
you're right. I do remember the early access to shows. Okay, well, shoot. Well, what's next?
And then next, there's some new releases. In the last couple of weeks. First one is from Rise Against. It's called Nowhere Generation. It just sounds like a Rise Against song. Like, that's all I can say about it.
Well, okay. Rise Against. They had their 2 albums on Fat, right? Or was it just one? No, 2 albums on Fat. We were DJs at the time. We really loved this band.
Yeah.
And then they had that other one with the radio hit. And then I'm like, I don't know about this band anymore. Mm-hmm. But the rest of the songs on that album were all right? Like Give It All, Life Last Friday. Okay. So I'm like, I'll give them a pass, even though they got this terrible acoustic song I can't stand.
Swing Life Away.
I like beyond hate that song for so many different reasons. Anyway, I hate it. Hate it. And I kind of think I'm done with them. They're just going to be like a band in the background that has a couple songs I like. But then they put out the best album of like our generation for punk. I can't think of anything better, like as far as a big album.
Oh, big album. Yeah.
Like not an underground band that's really cool for you, or I'm talking like for our generation.
They're like the Green Day, the Offspring.
Yeah, for our generation, you have to put an example of the best of what the biggest has to offer. Sufferer and The Witness. Is there an album better than that for that example? I don't think so. That album is good. Like all songs. That is one of the best albums of our generation.
Wow.
So then I'm like, now I have to pay attention to everything they do. Mm-hmm. And you're now being a Rise Against fan is a roller coaster because they have some awesome songs where I love this. This is as good. This could be on Sufferer and The Witness. And then you hear another song, you're like, what this happened? Is not even a punk song. This is like regular rock.
Yeah, right? They have some
regular rock.
Like radio songs, yeah.
And it doesn't sound like good rock though. That's the thing that throws me off, because you'd think, well, it'll still be good.
Yeah.
Or it's like, no, I hate it. It's weird. And this song, Nowhere Generation, it has a lot of different parts. So the first 30 seconds, I hate it. I'm like, oh no, it's going to be another one of those Rise Against songs that I can't stand. It's kind of got the strummy guitar, the slow build, the vocals with him just talking without any rocking going on. They're like building up to an anthem, and then they start, picking up the pace. They add the drums, they get the guitars going. I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere here. And then it just keeps going. The song is 4 minutes long. What? So anyway, like you said, definitely a Rise Against song. It's nothing new. It's just, I don't know. As a whole, I guess I have to say it's good. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed too much.
I wasn't disappointed or blown away. I thought it was fine or good.
I will look forward to hearing the rest of the album when because this is just a single. So they're going to release the whole album, I'm sure, in the next couple months.
Yeah. And maybe because they are a bigger band, maybe they release more radio friendly songs as singles rather than their harder songs. I don't know.
If this is their radio song though, give it a thumbs down for that one. It's not catchy, not to me.
Yeah.
To me, it's like an anthem.
But you know how currently radio, it's not like it plays a lot of new aggressive rock. It's more of slowed down rock. So you can't be too aggressive. So
the fact that it has a guitar in it is already struck out. Like, you're not getting on the radio anyway. So what difference does it make? Oh, but yeah, I could talk about off the top of your head. An album of our generation from a big punk band that you'd put up there with that Suffer and the Witness. Think about it. Because you could say, Sing the Sorrow, AFI, maybe. But I still like Suffer and the Witness more because it's a punk album, and whereas the AFI album is more of a rock album. And I think there's a lot of the bigger punk bands that had a lot of commercial success are not the bands you and I like a lot. That's true. It's a lot of choose from. Yeah, so for us, there's not a lot of, because there's a lot of Fall Out Boy and that you're right, subgenre of it, and that's huge, and that has a lot of albums. I guess they would argue just that there's not a lot of more straightforward punk albums that were huge. You're right. We'd probably hear the Black Parade. Yeah, see, people love that album. Black Parade. Yeah, it's just that's not. No wonder why I chose Suffer and the Witness. See, yeah, well, they had no competition. Yeah, and they've toured with My Chemical Romance at one point on Rise Against. I saw them tour together. So, yeah. Whew. Okay, well, that'll be a topic for another time, I suppose. Yeah, we have other new music. Yeah. The BRONX with White Shadow. Now the BRONX, wow. The BRONX are all over the place. This is a hard rock song. Yeah. It's the BRONX, how they started versus the BRONX now. Very different band, but they're still raw and aggressive. Yeah. To the extreme, but in a different way. Is there anything you can describe it for me? How are the BRONX? I think to me, they're a band that I like, and then I'll see them and I like them, and then I kind of forget. Like I was surprised that they're still around, because I was like, oh, I haven't heard of them in a while. So that was a pleasant surprise. Somehow I feel like sometimes they don't put out anything for a while. Yeah. Or maybe that's my impression of it, but I feel like they'll come out, they'll have a good album, and then I'll play it, and then I won't think about it for a couple of years, and then they'll have another album. I think also when we first got into the BRONX, I believe we saw them open. They were like the opening band for a bunch of bands that we were seeing at the time, and we really liked them live. Yes. They were real strong live. Yeah. And they had their albums, and I liked them, but not the same as I liked them live. It was missing the oomph from their really live performance. And also they were beyond hardcore. They were super hardcore, like the garbled vocals, like 90% of the time is just, I couldn't even understand what they're saying. And they're just like blasting, just loud, extreme noise. Now this song White Shadow, it's extreme hard rock. It still has like some hardcore punk elements, but this is Motorheady. It has like a 30-second guitar solo somewhere toward the end of the song. I'm like, this is all, I love it. I like it a lot. And then I was thinking like, this is almost like Electric Frankenstein, which another band I really like. So I was like, okay, Motorhead, Electric Frankenstein, really hard, aggressive rock. And that's where the BRONX are right now. And I'd like to see them live. So hopefully that will happen. And hopefully the whole album comes out, because, you know, every band here just keeps putting out one song and then waiting 6 months and then putting out a few more.
Yeah.
That's just the
I'm hoping that's just the quarantine also, because I'm ready to get full albums from bands.
Yeah. And if not a full album, could you give me half? Could I get 6 of the 12? I could take 6 now and 6 later. But I don't like 1 now and 10 later.
Yeah.
And I also don't like 2.
When they do 1 at a time for a couple months, and then it's just like, but I have to keep remembering and all of that. Like, I'm not going to remember to keep checking back and keeping track of it.
And I don't like the 3. There's a lot of bands that are putting out 3 songs now.
Yeah.
That's annoying, because it's always one good one and the other 2 I don't like. It's just, I don't know what it is, but that's just how it is for me. Everything.
What is even the strategy for that? Because now everything is streamed. It's not like you're going to release and people are going to buy your album anyway. So I guess they're doing it for tours, but
okay,
maybe, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I think I don't like it, because I do end up liking one of the 3. Maybe they do it on purpose, because, you know, someone's going to like one of those 3 more than the others, but they'll have heard 3 songs. And so they'll be familiar with it, even though they only like 1. Is that a thing to do?
Yeah. And maybe now, I have another idea. Bands probably have to do this to play the algorithm game. Because if you release a song, then we listen to it, then it'll probably tell us or remind us or play the next song. So it's kind of like you have to play the algorithm the same way people do it on social media. You probably have to play the algorithm game for streams as well.
Yeah, you are right.
So if you release a song, then people hear about it, they go listen to it, and then that raises you up. And then when you release the next one, you kind of get, they're probably doing something like that. And it has nothing to do with the album release strategy. It's just because of the technology that they're dealing with.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well,
that's a theory.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Next up, horror section with Die Alone. I just picked this one because it was Ramones core. This is just Ramonesy, like the Lillingtons. It totally reminded me of the Lillingtons, the Methadones, a little screechy, weaselly.
Totally up your alley.
The Queers.
Yeah.
You know that stuff. Here's the thing, though. I love the Ramones core music, because it sounds like the Ramones. It's the Ramones style. It's just, you know, power chord, downbeat, 4/4, fast songs. Into it. I rarely like the singer of any Ramones core band. And this one is a tough one. Horror section, the song Die Alone, I like this song, no doubt. Yeah. But again, you go listen to 4 songs, and because it's pop punky, Ramones core is, you know, pop punk genre, it's a little high pitched, which, you know, it's funny for me to say that. I play a Ramones style guitar. I sing with a stupid high pitched voice. I don't like it. I would like to be more masculine or rough or gruff or what. I just can't do it. Whatever. But anyway, maybe that's a problem with the fans of Ramones. They just can't do it. I don't know what it is.
Maybe that's why you dislike it, because that's something you want to change about yourself. People don't, do you see what I'm saying? You have a bias when you hear it, because that's something you're trying to change about.
You're right. I was just thinking, we've been talking
about, it's not
the
bands, it's just like you want it to sound differently. So of course you're not going to enjoy somebody who sounds more like you.
Well, that is definitely now making me think next album we make, gonna have to, you know.
Apparently I'm going to have a theory about every song we talk about. First I had the theory about the algorithm, now I have a theory about your bias. I'm just out of control here. This is what happens when I spend a year alone thinking.
that should be an element of all of our reviews. When we talk about a new release, I talk about what I like about it, blah, blah, blah. And then you give the theory.
I'll have a theory. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But anyway, I like the song Horror Section. I like the band Horror Section. The song Die Alone, that was the one I liked the most out of their new EP.
Yeah, and I like the title.
Die Alone.
Sometimes I like titles, but it's like everyone's greatest fear. Also so appropriate to come out during quarantine when you're just like, yep, it's happening. Gonna die alone. And live alone.
Yeah.
While we're at it. It's just all alone.
Oh, and last one was Copper Moon, the song Blind Aggression. So Copper Moon, they sent an email to us and just said, hey, check out our band. And I did.
Yeah.
And I like the song Blind Aggression.
Boom,
so I'm just talking. That's what I'm saying. You just be like, hey, check out my band. If I like it, if Olga likes it, we'll talk about it. If we don't, we're probably just not going to talk about it because I'm not here to like trash you for no reason. But anyway, I just thought, hey, cool. You said check it out. I did. It's good. It's garage rock. Yeah. And I thought it fit in with the show because we talked about the BRONX. Yeah. And I think that in the future, Copper Moon with, you know, more recording budget, they could boost up their guitars to the BRONX level. They would fit in with the BRONX. They would fit in with Electric Frankenstein. They would fit in with Motorhead. They are a hard rock band with an aggressive sound.
Listening to it, it just made me think of like, I feel like I'm listening to a local band's track for whatever reason. Probably the recording, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It was kind of nostalgic because it's just been so long since a local band randomly gave me a CD to play. So no, I appreciated that. It also took me back like a lot of these events and songs that we're talking about today.
Yeah, so that's what I thought of it as too, because it's like when you go to a show of a band you like. So I will say, I went to the BRONX. I just saw the BRONX. I liked them. And then afterward, some dude hands you a CD and says, hey, check out my band. And this is kind of how I was thinking. It's Copper Moon was doing that. They hand me, and I'm thinking, well, this is kind of like your first demo EP type of thing. And I'm checking it out. And I'm saying, yeah, this is on track to be one of those bands that I go to see on purpose, not just happen to be opening for the band I go to see. This is the first step of that. That's what I thought. And you're right. You listen to the recording. If you go listen to the BRONX recording and then you listen to Copper Moon back to back, it's not going to rip your face off the way the BRONX would. However, on its own, without that, it sounded great as a hard garage rock sound. Yeah. So that's what my hope was.
Yeah. And I mean, it's so refreshing because so many things now are so overproduced and music is so polished that like, I like that it sounds like it was recorded in a small studio and it wasn't overdone. Like it sounds wrong. That's how I like my music. So
and that's what I was worried. So I'm like Copper Moon, they're right there at the beginning and they're going to have to make their next step.
Yeah.
They could go butt rock. Right. That would be, and then I would be, oh man, I don't like that. But they could be like more, let's go BRONX. And then, okay. So that's where I'm wondering, like, we'll only know in the future what Copper Moon decides to do moving forward. Are they going to be more butt rock? And, you know, I'm sure more people will probably go see their shows because if you're a five-finger death punch or whatever, you're
it's actually a pretty big scene that,
So they would have to leave. I think they're from San Diego, I think is what they said.
I think so, yeah.
They'll go east.
Yeah.
They'll just get out of the West Coast because I don't know about butt rock in the West Coast. It's not as big as it is everywhere else in this country, but we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. And props to them for somehow finding us. And
they're probably just doing a random search.
Yeah, and if you're listening and you want us to listen to your music, you can send it to us as well.
Yes. I will have the link below.
Yes. And then do you have a grudge this week?
I do, and it has nothing to do with anything, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
I do not like the pet-friendly hotel reservation system that we currently have on every app out there. It's ridiculous. motels.com or hotels.com, Expedia, Travag, whatever, all of them. What happens is you go and you have to read through everything to actually find the pet-friendly hotel in the first place. Then you find one. And then you try to make a reservation. And it'll say adults, 2, if there's 2, children, I don't have any, so I put none. And then there's no box for dogs or cats.
Oh, that's true.
And then what do you have to do? It says call.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose of the app, is so I don't have to talk to some asshole on the phone. I hate talking to people, and that's every time. And if, let's say, they don't have any available, what do I have to do then?
Cancel.
Make another goddamn phone call and do it again. This is like, there's things I don't like to do in life. Work and talk on the phone to strangers. Those are like the 2 things I hate to do. And this stupid technology where they say it's a pet-friendly hotel. If it's a pet-friendly hotel, then why isn't there the checkbox where you just add dog?
Yeah.
Add the fee. I'll pay the stupid money. I'm not complaining about paying the fee. I'm just saying, don't say it's pet-friendly hotel on your app and then not let me make the reservation with my pet and then phone. That's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed. That's even more annoying than my last episode, Grudge, where I don't like where the play button is on Spotify.
Yeah.
Because it gets in the way and I accidentally move the stupid song to the middle of the song when I just wanted to pause it for a second.
Yeah.
This is outrageous.
My grudge is sort of self-reflective this week. My grudge is that because we've been so locked up and bored and our lives have been, the new normal and unprecedented times, that I can no longer judge. I can no longer trust my judgment because I'm constantly questioning, is this me or is this the quarantine got to me? Like, I just agreed to go camping. I hate camping. And now I'm like, oh, quarantine brain. Or sometimes I think, oh, that person is attractive. And it's like, are they? Or is it just, I haven't seen anyone attractive in a year. So I'm just questioning all my decisions and everything I do because everything is weird. And you're in this, we've all been living in this stress bubble and unprecedented times. And we're just all making, I don't know. I feel like everyone I know has kind of changed somewhat in quarantine, or a lot of people have changed. And it's like, is that the new us? Do we go back to the previous us? Is that going to happen naturally? Do we have to work at, like, there's so much confusion, but also I'm always like, why would I do this? And then I'm thinking, is it the quarantine? Am I going crazy because I've been locked up for too long? Or is this something I want to even do? That's my current pondering.
Yeah, I would say yes to all questions.
Yeah.
Is it the quarantine? Yes. Are you going mental? Yes. And then what was the other one?
Yeah.
Is the reason why you're feeling like you're depressed and you can't make decisions properly and you feel like you're going mental, is it because of being locked up in your house for a year without talking to people? Yes. That is, I think that's a fairly
that sums it up. Yeah. So I'm just like, well, should I not be allowed to make any decisions at this point?
I think you have to give yourself a break.
Yeah.
But I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So I think we are about done this week. And you can follow us on Instagram, Almost Punk. You can send us an email, almostpunkpot@gmail.com. If you want us to check out your band, or if you want to tell us about a grudge, or if you have developed a good coping mechanism for making decisions during unprecedented times, it would be helpful.
All right.
Over
See you next time.
Yep.
Bye.